Today I did a lot of tutorial watching. I actually sat down to try and follow along with some Virtual Riot production stuff, and instead just watched that how to use, like, using 100% of Serum live stream for like an hour into like parts of it I hadn't seen before, and it's a fascinating watch to see how he uses lots of tools that Ableton has that I don't think Logic has, that I could, like, you know, if I were to switch over to Ableton, like, have access to, or maybe Logic does have, and I just need to find them. But it was fascinating to, like, watch him do sound design, to watch how quickly he would stack a rack of effects onto a sound, and, like, how I've always been, like, I think hesitant to, like, put too many on. But anyways, that was a very educational experience, but it does make for a very good video, and I just did a, like, tutorial-style video a few days ago. And so today, instead, I wanted to explore something I've been meaning to explore for a while. Every once in a while, I'll go up here and click this on ShaperBox on accident usually, and it brings up this list of presets. And I'm like, I didn't even know ShaperBox had presets. I'm excited to explore and see what do ShaperBox presets sound like, see if we can learn anything about ShaperBox. So I've gone through them and I've hearted the sounds I liked, and we're just gonna kind of play through them here, kind of talk through some of the things I discovered. If I turn off ShaperBox for a second, I wrote in this MIDI here for what is effectively just a sine wave. I experimented with some other stuff, but all you're hearing here is just a pure sine wave, and it plays like this. Turn off the drums for now. And given that it's just a sine wave, this is a really good way to test different effects so that you can kind of hear what the actual differences are being made by ShaperBox, not by Serum. So first off, the space-time sound. We have some noise. We have some reverb. And then some time shaping. The time shaping is literally just dropping everything by an octave, because it's just taking this ramp and putting it kind of double down. Well, if we were to move it... It's interesting how swung that is. Now, notably, you're hearing multiple notes at the same time, and you'll notice that my MIDI is just a melody. It's one note at a time. And this was the thing that blew my mind that a lot of these effects do. They are multi-band time shaping. I didn't know I knew you could do this in other tools, but I didn't realize that a feature of like multi-banding it extends to all of the parameters. You can do that in literally anything here. So with Time Shaper, you get literally different melodies, different musical lines, depending on how you do the time shaping in different bands. This effect will become more clear in other presets we go through in just a second. But one thing I also thought was fascinating was this envelope mode. I've never noticed this. Like, this is what it looks like usually when I come in here. If I go to like liquid here, yeah, it's got this envelope, and I'm fascinated to experiment with it. If you turn it on, you get different sounds depending on where you put this envelope. When it hears the sound coming in on the channel, it shapes the effect to that sound either conversely or inversely. So that was something this has been here a lot for a long time on all sorts of different effects. I've just literally never turned it on. And so you can hear in their sound, they're doing the inversely here with the reverb. So you're getting more of a reverb tail as the note rings out, but not on the transient. And on the noise, they're doing the opposite, just adding little noise crackles as the sound comes in. There's kind of a threshold thing. If you expand this out, you can change more parameters, kind of almost in like a compression style envelope. So that was mind-boggling. The ShaperBox just became so much more useful to me because of this envelope mode I had no idea about. Moving on, this beautification sound. The drums are off, by the way. The kick drum sound, I'm pretty sure, is coming from this filter. This filter shape is kind of creating that thump, because the resonance turns up while it pops down really quickly there and then turns back off. That's a really cool shape, and it's kind of a fun way to do rhythm. And the noise is creating this kind of like hi-hat pattern with this cool shape. So there's a couple different presets where the sound is basically, or the noise generator is being used as a noise generator, not an effect. It's like an additional thing. Next is Crush Repeater, which is a great demonstration of what I was talking about with the multi-band time shaping. You hear the melody on top? Kind kind of stuff. So we have this and this, two completely separate lines, creating two separate melodies. 4 on the floor. This one's another rhythmic one. This is cool. This multi-band type shaping stuff is a little bit interesting because it is, it's still mostly just a melody, but then there's these little just moments where the bass deviates or where the treble deviates. And then again, this same sort of effect where the resonance is high, and we're just doing this quick sweep down, which creates sort of a kick drum effect. That's then maximized or, you know, magnified by the drive. Game Boy effect, this one is one I think was actually, I favorited this one not because it was so unique, but because it was a cool sound I thought I might actually use. Just a simple time shaper shape that kind of creates a kind of like Game Boy sort of sound. I'm like, oh, that's a really cool shape. I want to maintain that shape so I can write that in myself, or even just throw this on things. With it in audio mode here, it's just going whenever it gets audio. So on every transient, it triggers that. It makes sense. Metallic pitched glitch. This is fascinating to me. You can see how super, super dense this envelope is. And then it's set to 1/28 notes, which gives us this. We turn off time, drive, and noise. Crazy. You could, if you change this. It's like giving you like an FM effect, which I don't even know how you write in data this dense here, but cool to see. Fascinating kind of like pushing of ShaperBox to its limits there. Plucky pluck here was interesting. Again, we have multi-band time shaping, this time with 3 different voices. I'm not sure what the point of this is other than just like, because you could just put another node out here, and like I assume this would be basically the same, but I don't know. These tools were a little bit confusing to me. And then they have, again, multi-band on the liquid and not here on the filter. This filter's just a notch. And then this one was really cool. That pulsing from the reverb here, it leaves the low end alone, but on the high end has this pulsing. This is just, the liquid is just doing this, kind of moving the center of a flanger around. This one I liked a lot, and I actually saved and built myself. I changed it a little bit and put this one on it. Put in a compressor on it. Trying to like knock down some of those mid frequencies that I think are kind of popping up too much. It's still kind of woofing a little bit, so I sort of feel like I don't know what I'm doing here, and I feel like this should be, like I've got this 5-to-1 ratio on the mids, and this is clearly where those, you can literally see it popping up, and yet somehow it doesn't feel like it's compressing it compared to the rest of the sound. So I still have something to learn there, but I did like that sound, and then when you put that one back with our drums on the top, it actually kind of creates a good groove that could be fun piece of music. Like, the only other one I loved was this glass verb send, which I think I will actually probably hold on to and use in a bus format. Very nice. Very nice lush reverb there. It's mostly just like full wet, big haul, very wide, a little bit of motion with a phaser, but other than that, just big, wide open. It is a send. It's something that's supposed to live on a bus, not be a super sound changing thing, just a sound accenting thing. So yeah, those are the things we found in ShaperBox, explored their presets, and learned a few new things about how that tool works. Excited to put those to use in future episodes. That's all we have time for today, though. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.